Since we've witnessed the 1963 adaptation of Daphne du Maurier's book, Birds, many of us have ornithophobia and internal fear of unexpected bird invasion. But there was a time in the history of humankind when the reality was way harsher, and we witnessed horrific birds living back to humans. The fear was real, and the possibility of being eaten by a gigantic bird was pretty much a daily routine. Cave art and legends say that this bird was fearsome, could eat humans, and often stole babies from their mothers. Today, we will look at one of the most magnificent members of the bird family. This giant eagle was considered an old wives' tale for hundreds of years before the marvelous resurrection of the bird in history. We will learn about its long-lost life, the habitat from a different era, and why these birds were destined to go extinct. Today's video is about Haast's eagle, the super bird and the king of all eagles. Without further ado, let's get started. The discovery of Haast's eagle. People have many legends about ancient creatures, like dragons, basilisks, and manticores. Most of them, of course, are just myths, a fantasy of one particularly gifted person, or just an interpretation of archaeological finds, like dinosaur bones. But rarely, these stories are not just tales, but folk memories about creatures from another time. A giant squid turned out to be true, and Haast's eagle was introduced to modern people again after years of oblivion. So the story of Haast's eagles start with Maori legends and cave art about Buckley, the giant beast of the past that could kill a human easily. This legend became the truth in 1871 when Frederick Richardson Fuller, a taxidermist from the local Canterbury Museum in Christchurch, New Zealand, discovered the fossils of some gigantic bird in Mr. George Moore's swamp. At first, the scientists expect to find only the remains of moa, another impressive bird that lived here long ago. But new findings occurred, and members of the expedition were astounded. Mr. Fuller reported about the fossils to the director of the museum, Dr. Julius von Haast, and later, Dr. Haast told the world about this amazing discovery. You may think that Dr. Haast fooled poor Fuller and took the fame to himself, but it wasn't the case. Dr. Julius von Haast mentioned Fuller as a discoverer, but unfortunately, he got zero recognition from the story. The species was named after Haast, and the Latin name of the species got the second name of Moore, Harpagornis moorei. The origins of the king of eagles. The eagle was an endemic species of New Zealand, a unique place where many absolutely amazing animals lived their prehistoric lives before humans came into the picture. The species appeared on Earth somewhere from 1.8 million to 700,000 years ago, when Haast eagles diverged from other eagles. At first, scientists thought that Haast eagles were the relatives of wedge-tailed eagles, another large breed of birds found in Australia nowadays. But decoding of the species' mitochondrial DNA showed that Haast eagles are actually related to the booted eagles and little eagles. It makes these birds' massive increase in weight and size over the thousands of years even more exciting. Their evolution was really rapid if we speak about the biological timing, and over a really short period of time, Haast eagles became from 10 to 15 times larger than their ancestors. And since we are talking about the size, let's discuss it. The incredible appearance and size of Haast's eagle. Haast's eagle was the biggest predatory bird witnessed by humans. It is also the biggest eagle that ever existed, and all modern members of the eagle family would probably be shocked to see how giant this bird was. They looked really similar to modern eagles, and they were true raptors. Haast's eagle probably had white and brown feathers, but there are no solid proofs to confirm that. The height of an average Haast eagle was about 3 feet, 90 centimeters, and the overall length of the body was up to 4.6 feet, 1.4 meters. Considering its incredible size, the bird has relatively short wings. Most eagles had a 7.87 feet, 2.4 meters wingspan, and the biggest could have a wingspan of almost 10 feet, 3 meters. However, short wings weren't a problem for our big fellas, and Haast eagle were definitely flying birds. Scientists think that the shortness of their wings was compensated by their width, and eagles could fly well enough to hunt innocent animals of New Zealand. But what did you expect from the apex predator with almost no real enemies? Female eagles were much bigger than their male counterparts and could weigh somewhere from 22 to 33 pounds, 10 to 15 kilograms. while male birds could only be somewhere between 20 to 26 pounds, 9 to 12 kilograms. It's worth mentioning our lovely bird's weapon, beak and legs. The strong beak was large, about 4.5 inches, 11 centimeters long, and had a curved tip, typical of birds of prey. Haast eagles had enough power to tear up the skin and flesh of their prey once they had it in their legs. Speaking of legs, they were undoubtedly strong enough to catch and move a human around. But the most fascinating thing about the eagles was their feet. They were up to 9.5 inches, 31 centimeters with talons. It must have been a terrifying picture to meet these guys at that time. The diet of the king of eagles. Haast eagles' habitat was thick forest, everywhere from seashore to the mountains. They particularly lived on the South Island and Stewart's Island, and many fossils of these birds were found there. There were tons of innocent animals that lived their herbivore lives in peace on these islands, and that's why they were the perfect food for our winged friends. Haast eagles waited for their prey from the bushes and quickly attacked from the sky when the moment was perfect. Once the eagle's talons were on the prey's skin, it had no chances. Haast eagles were the apex predators of their era, and their main prey was moa, another big endemic species of New Zealand. Our lovely eagles were big, for sure, but moa were simply gigantic with their average weight of 510 pounds, 250 kilograms, and height of two grown-up men standing on each other, 12 feet, 3.6 meters. Our lovely predator birds surely didn't need an eagle's eye to see moa. Moa was a flightless bird, and while it was probably strong and could run away from our dear eagle, it rarely survived a direct attack. Haast eagles also enjoyed hunting other big birds, like giant geese and large ducks. The birds led really nice and wholesome lives on the islands until a huge and previously unseen threat came into the picture. Of course, I mean the first humans in New Zealand. Haast eagle and humans. Sorry for the spoilers, but relationships between Haast eagles and humans weren't all rainbows and daisies. Like, at all. It was more like thunder and Amorphophallus titanium, the smelliest flower on this planet. When humans came to New Zealand, they immediately started hunting on moa, Haast eagles' main prey. Despite the illusionary war that we imagine going on between herbivore and carnivore communities, both are alive only while another lives. When the number of moa on the island decreased drastically, the population of Haast eagle started slowly dying out too. Also, humans started burning out forests everywhere on the islands, even more reducing the habitat of this incredible species. As for the direct confrontations between Maori and Haast eagles, scientists do not know for sure. It is really possible that Maori hunted the eagles for food because they were large. However, they probably did it to protect themselves too. Many legends say that these birds could and had grabbed people and eaten them. Some scientists are very skeptical about this idea, but Haast eagles were surely strong enough to do that, so who knows? In the end, the continuous war for food, territory, and perhaps for life resulted in the complete extinction of the biggest eagles in the world. It happened somewhere around the 1400s, and moa lasted a little bit longer. All 9 species of these birds were gone before the beginning of the 16th century. It took only a couple of hundred years to end the story of the beautiful and unique Haast eagles, the most terrifying predators of New Zealand. So, that's the story of the Haast eagle. Let us know if you find this bird as fascinating as we do. And do you wish these eagles to be back from the dead? Comment down below your thoughts and let us know what other fascinating ancient animals do you want us to cover. And until the next time, and for now, you can be as free as a bird.